Welcome back to the Mega Meeple, the show all about gamers and the games that bring them together. I'm your host, Tom, and I want to thank you for hitting that download button. Now, if you like what you hear, please be sure to subscribe to the podcast on iTunes. And while you're there, leave us some kind words and put out some of that 5-star loving, okay? We'd really appreciate that. And I promise I'll call you in the morning. Now, if you have any ideas or suggestions of what you want to hear about, or maybe a topic, a discussion about the board games, now you can contact us through our website. It's www.themegameeple.com, and go to our social media page. All the links to our pages like Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, yada, 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 blah, blah, blah. You know all the ones. Okay, it can be found there at our social media page. And now you can also hear the podcast on our YouTube channel, as well as some unboxing videos, as boring as they are, but evidently unboxing videos is a thing, so I do them, oh well. And you can also see some reviews of games and gaming accessories, and the link to that is also on our social media page on the website. This is episode 13 of the Mega Meeple, and I don't know if it's going to be an unlucky 13 or a lucky 13 episode. Actually, I think it's just going to be an episode, because I'm not superstitious in any sense. So, yeah, I'm tired. This past week has been spent just moving. There's a few days prior to that where just breaking things down, putting them in boxes, getting them ready for the movers, and just getting things. So hopefully things went pretty smooth, although we did, I think, choose, at least for the Carolina summer, one of the most hottest weekends to move. And I am so glad that my roommate hired some movers, because I sure to hell wasn't going to do any lifting or anything. So I just kind of pointed and say, "Yep, that goes there, that goes here," and just kind of supervised. So that was fine with me. And got now, as far as the board games, actually the final tally, we got 25 bags worth of board games, and of course those were like the last things packed up and the first things unpacked, because priorities. And there's some things to say about just up and moving house. Not many of it good, because it's just a royal pain in the butt. But one of the good things is that there's just a sense of newness. There's a sense of starting fresh. There's a sense of you got a new place. Now you could set up your furniture or your decor, or arrange your books or your albums or your CDs, or in this case your board games, any way you want. And just to start fresh, and a bit of a purging, and get rid of things that you no longer need or want, or even get rid of things that you didn't even know you had to begin with. I know what I was backing up is I'm coming across like photos of years and years back that of people I don't even remember their name. But evidently we were friends at some point, because there I am in a photo, and it looks like we were having a good time. But I don't remember their names. And I vaguely remember the situation or the environment or the event that the photo was taken on. And then just making sure that the mailing address is changed. But the cool thing is that the place I'm moving from, I mean, we're good friends. I know these people, and in fact, it's all kind of one social circle that I'm staying in, as far as the people that I'm moving from, and the people that I'm moving in with, we're all like mutual friends. So we all know each other. We all hang out with each other. Yeah, we all game together. We're all into gaming. So some of the initial Kickstarters that's going to be arriving in the next month or two will be going to the old place. So I just told him, yeah, just give me a heads up when they come, because it's one of those things that I didn't know what the actual mailing address of my new place was going to be in time for before the pledge manager thing kind of closed up and was finalized. So it was one of those things where I wasn't able to go back and make a change to the mailing address. So there'll be, I'd say maybe 2 or 3 games that will be going to the old address, and I'm hoping that they'll let me know that they arrived. I mean, I'm sure I'll be keeping an eye on it, because I'll get email notifications that's been sent out. But it's just because the people I used to live with, they're big gamers too. So I don't know. They might be tempted to open up the box and get a hit on some of my new games before I'm able to get access to it. And I wouldn't blame them. I do the same thing. But no, they're good people. I trust them, so they'll let me know when the games arrived, and I'll go pick them up. So speaking of which, I have some of the things I have been getting is people have contacted me, game creators, designers of new games that are being released, prototype games that are getting developed soon for Kickstarter to launch in the next month or so. For those of you who have sent me games, particularly card games seem to be a big thing now, especially for developers and designers of new games coming out. I have got your games. Don't worry, a video preview or review of your games is coming out very shortly. I know I have some footage filmed that is still on my camera, and once we get settled into my new place, which hopefully won't be too long, maybe another I'd say 2 weeks, that we'll finally get settled, and I'll be able to film some more stuff and get some things uploaded on my computer and start doing some editing and get that stuff out there. So I have not forgotten about you guys. The reviews are coming. The video reviews are coming. So as far as things that I've played this past week or so, I haven't played jack crap for obvious reasons. So maybe you guys could help me. Tell me what game I should play. The first game at my new place. What game should I play? I'm thinking of breaking out Mystic Vale and teaching my new roommates that game, because that's pretty cool. And one of my roommates, he's a big gamer, but he's not big into card games. But I think Mystic Vale is one of those unique games that I think he'll make a exception with Mystic Vale. So hopefully he'll like that. So yeah, I might. Okay, I just answered my own question. I think I'll pull out Mystic Vale and help teach my new roommates that game and see how they like it. Well, one of the things that I came across not too long ago, I think it was posted on Facebook, is put out by Nonstop Tabletop, and I will put a link to their blog in the show notes for this episode. But they had a pretty interesting article. It's a Nonstop Tabletop awesomeness served straight to your face. And they have a blog article called "Why Are Board Games So Trendy?" It seems like the instances of when you ask somebody if they're into board games, usually their go-to example is, well, yeah, I played Monopoly, and I played Risk, and I I played, Trouble, and people's preconceived notions or perceptions of what board games are doesn't automatically go back to those old-fashioned, so to speak, family-style tropes that are considered board games. It seems like people's, at least awareness of what board games and hobby tabletop games are really starting to expand, and that really has a lot to say about the people that's in the hobby. It's a welcoming community, and that it's a community that, for the most part, it's filled with people that want to share their love of the hobby, and it's not one of these things where there are cliques. Naturally, you have groups of people that game together for long periods of time. But especially when you're talking about RPGs and stuff, some of these campaigns are going on for months and months and months and even years. At least from my experience and from talking from other people, the attitude of gamers is just very open and very welcoming to newcomers. Because let's face it, the more people that you introduce to your favorite game, that's one more person to have on game night. For every new person that you introduce to the hobby, that's one more character in your campaign. That's one more player, possibly the tournament scene of this game that you enjoy. That's one more opponent that you could play your favorite card game or favorite competitive board game with, and build even more memories. So the fact that board games are becoming more and more trendy is a really good thing, because the more people it's trendy, get more people involved, and as a result you have a bigger pool of friends to be social with. And that's what it all comes down to, is gaming is a social activity. So anyway, this is a blog from Nonstop Tabletop about why board games are so trendy, and one of the reasons is face-to-face interactions. I grew up playing NES games with friends at sleepover birthday parties. Just to interject there, I had a similar thing, but mine was Atari. We had Atari 2600, and me and my high school friend at the time, we would come to each other's houses. Like I'd go over his house one week, he'd come over my house the next week, and it was a weekly thing, and we would have Atari 2600 Space Invader tournaments, and we would try to break each other's top score. Back to the blog. Not long after that, if you wanted to play video games with your friends, you each did it from your home and spoke to each other through a headset. You also started playing online games with strangers, which meant you had to listen to 12-year-olds hyped up on Mountain Dew tell you how they had sex with your mom last night. Now, I don't know about you, but I don't particularly enjoy that. Yeah, me neither. When you're playing a board game, you are able to sit in the same room as your friends, maybe have a drink or two and enjoy yourself. It reminds of the overnight parties from elementary school. Except now, we are huddled around a table, not a TV. In addition, I'm 35, or the person who's writing this blog is 35. I'm not going to tell you how old I am. It's older than that, I can tell you. So screw the all-nighters. I need to get my kid in bed, and she is a mess. And they give a link as a part of an editor's note: don't let your kids win at board games. So when you read this article, you might want to go check that one out. So yeah, the fact that it's video, and pretty much you're just staring at a TV, versus board games where you're sitting around a table, the TV's not even there, and you're interacting with people face to face. Of course, another reason why board games are getting trendy is social media and the internet. Now, growing up, I had a couple of years between middle school and my sophomore year of high school where I got pretty into Magic the Gathering. I lived in a small town in rural South Dakota, so we had our group of 3 or 4 people who played the game for a few years, and then it slowly trailed off. Today with board games, there are so many ways to interact with others who have similar interests. I am a member of several board game groups on Facebook where I'm always hearing about a new game or seeing someone's shelfie. I'm following people on Twitter and Instagram where I see pictures of Origins or Gen Con, and that makes me want to travel and go to board game conventions. YouTube allows me to watch a game played. For even more complex games, I go there first, then fill in the blanks when reading the rule book. Some board game companies are even producing their own rule videos and putting them online. I watch unboxing videos where I can see what the components look like and how pretty the game is. Kickstarter has really allowed small companies or individuals to create their own games. Back in the 50s, you needed to be a major toy company to come out with a new game and get it on store shelves. Today, almost anyone, if they work hard enough, can create their own game. With so many games, the quality of board games seem to be on the rise. And then, of course, in the area where you live, you have friendly local game stores to support your gaming habit. If not, luckily there's Amazon or any other online retailer willing to ship these games to you at your doorstep. Another reason is variety. Now today there is almost a limitless variety of types of board games. One night I am playing Above and Below, where I'm exploring caves, gathering resources, and building a community. The next afternoon I'm playing Love Letter, where I'm trying to earn the attention of a princess. Later that night I may be playing Scoville, where I'm trying to grow the hottest peppers. There is literally a game based on almost any topic. If you like puzzles, there are games for you. If you like zombies, there are games for you. There are a lot of games for you. And if you want to work together, there are cooperative games for you. If you want to vanquish your foes and dominate others, there are games for you. Seriously, if you want to pick flowers, there are games for you. Next thing is technology overload. Now, people today are constantly on some type of device. It might be a laptop or tablet at work, or constantly having your phone buzzing in your pocket. People are looking for a way to unplug. Take a step back from all that. Just interact with others. Just human interaction. Then finally, family time. And I personally, I would just extend that out to, your gaming family. Not necessarily your flesh and blood family, because your family may not be into gaming. So, but if you have a group of gamers in your social circle, that's your family. Board games are a great way to get the family together and do something different. Make everyone put their phones down and do something together. Overall, it's probably a combination of all of the ideas listed, as well as several other reasons that was not covered in the blog. But the important thing is that right now, board games are booming. Game publishers are constantly coming out with new games that we're all excited to play. So take a shelfie, support a Kickstarter campaign, get together with friends and have a game night, and be appreciative that we are living in a golden age of board games. And again, that is from a blog article from Nonstop Tabletop, and I'll put a link to that in the show notes of this episode. Go check it out, and go check out some of their other content and commentary on everything board game and tabletop game related. Another thing that, and again, I'll put a link to this article in the show notes for this episode, but Tabletop Gaming magazine, that is based out of the UK, has an article says Scythe designers Charterstone will let you reset the legacy game using a recharge pack. And it basically talks about Jamie Stegmaier, who, by the way, if you have not yet heard our interview with Jamie, go back to episode 3. It was our very first guest interview that we had for the Mega Meeple podcast. And we will definitely have Jamie back on approaching the time that Charterstone is going to be released, and we could talk about this article as well, all things Charterstone and the Wind Gambit expansion to Scythe. So stay tuned for that, and I'll announce when that episode or that interview is going to take place. But this article from Tabletop Gaming magazine talks about Jamie is going to be having a recharge pack available for Charterstone, and it'll be about $30. And basically what it is it allows you to replay the campaign, the 12 game campaign in the Charterstone box an additional 2 more times. It's basically a double-sided board, and rather than using the status of your Charterstone game as it is at the end of the 12 game campaign, you could replay those 12 games, basically do an entirely new campaign, build your Charterstone game up totally different ways, and you could do that 2 more times. Now, if you want to do that a third time, evidently you need to buy another core game copy of Charterstone itself. But this is indeed a unique approach and solution for the people who are kind of shy about doing legacy games, because they don't like to mark their games up or rip up cards or put stickers on stuff, because it will give them an option to be able to still play Charterstone, still play a legacy game, and then be able to replay that game at least an additional 2 more times, and it be fresh like it was you were playing it the first time. It also helps cater to the people who are into legacy games, where they could still do all the things that they enjoy doing with the legacy game, putting stickers on things or marking things up, ripping cards up, and still be able to do as though you're playing it the first time and still engage in the legacy aspect of it, and do that a total of 3 times before you have to rebuy the game over again to do it any additional times. So we'll see how that takes off, and hopefully if it goes well, there'll be other game designers and publishers that will follow Jamie's lead and perhaps start creating some recharge packs for their games. My guest for this episode is Zach White, and he has a game currently on Kickstarter right now called Bushido Breaker. It's a card game, and it's sort of like a player versus player hidden movement deduction card game. All right, welcome back to the Mega Meeple, and this time we have Zach White, who has designed a card game. It's a hidden movement and deduction card game. Hi, Zach. How you doing today?
Good, Thomas. How you doing?
Doing good. Now, tell us how you came up with the idea of Bushido Breaker.
Well, first of all, a couple months back, I started designing a different game called Countdown to Cataclysm. Got a ways into that, and then had the realization that after all I'd done, I was like, this game is not fun while I was playtesting. And it had a lot of parts, and it was a whole lot of movement on a big game board and everything. So I figured I would narrow it down from there and just figured out the best parts of it. And then I slowly weeded it down to sort of like the hidden movement aspect, and then the different counters aspect. Mm-hmm. And weeded it down to a simple hidden movement card game.
Okay, great. Now it's for 2 to 4 players, right? And
yes, sir.
What's the age bracket that you say they're recommended for this game?
I say 12 plus.
12 plus. All right. Now, can you explain to us how the game works? I understand you're able to play you're either playing the samurai or the ninja assassins.
Yes. So, as the ninja, your goal is to get to the shogun and assassinate him. And there's location cards which is where the movement's involved. And you will secretly move location to location while there's a samurai on every location. And the samurai are controlled by your opposing player. So as the samurai, your goal is to stop them, whether it's by capturing them, which is like by capturing the ninja in the act of, let's say, disabling an alarm, or the other way would be by killing the ninja, which would be by using your katana or yumi, which is a bow and arrow in Japanese, against the ninja and countering their cards that they use. And each card the ninja has to kill a samurai or move or disable an alarm has a counter to it. So as the ninja, you're trying to confuse the samurai and sneak through and get to the shogun. As a samurai, you're trying to figure out what they're going to use next and where they are.
Okay. Now the ninja and the samurai both have their own unique decks that they use?
Yes. Each person gets like their own hand of action cards, and the samurai, everything he has is something that will counter the ninjas. But then also at the beginning of the game, each player gets to choose one special card out of, right now I have 4 for ninja, 4 for samurai, and each one's completely different, one-time use. Like there's one that's Revelation for the samurai, where when they lay that down, they can see the ninja has to show them the 4 last actions and locations they were at in their last moves.
It kind of puts me in mind of, anytime I talk about kid movement, I think of like Fury of Dracula or Letters from Whitechapel and stuff like that. But this one is strictly cards. It's just a card game, no board or anything like that set up.
Yep, I wanted to get sort of that idea, or like there's also a spy game that I cannot remember, where you're trying to move through the board and you're writing down where you're going and everything, and there's people trying to catch you along the way.
Okay.
But I wanted to have that sort of concept, but simplified, and with less pieces. So it's, more mobile and the complexities of a big board game, but still a small size.
Right. Now, you have a Kickstarter currently. Now, the Kickstarter launched on July 11th, correct? Now, how long is the Kickstarter going to go for?
It's going to go for 34 days, so it will end August 15th.
All right. So if anybody's listening to this episode after August 15th, you missed it. But I'm sure there's a way to order it, or if it's up.
Yes.
You can pre-order it. Or so how could people find more? And we'll put a link to the stuff in the show notes for this episode. But if people want to find out more about you or the game, where could they go?
They can go to my website is zachandwhite.com, and Zach is spelled C-A-C-H, not K. I also have a Twitter, which is just at Zach and White.
Okay, great. Well, thank you so much, Zach, and appreciate you coming on the show, and good luck with the Kickstarter.
Thank you.
Thank you so much for listening to the Mega Meeple. Again, please subscribe on iTunes and leave us a rating and 5 stars and all that kind of stuff. And if you'd like to support the podcast with hosting costs, you can go to our Patreon page and donate $1 or so. Every bit helps. Now, if you have any ideas of topics to be discussed or things to include in the show, please follow and reach out to me at any of our social media sites. The links can be found on the social media page on our website, themegameeple.com. And also, if you're a game designer or creator and would like to get the word out about your game or Kickstarter, you can contact me via the Contact Us page. Thank you so much, and until next week, this is Tom saying, game on.